And welcome back to Hannity. So over the weekend, North Korea's Central News Agency announced that Pyongyang has detained yet another American citizen. And it's not just North Korea that continues to test the U.S. A senior U.S. defense official telling Fox News that on Sunday, the rogue regime in Tehran test-fired a high-speed torpedo in the Straits of Hormuz. Joining us now, the author of an incredible new book, I've been reading it now, Democracy, Stories from the Long Road to Freedom, former Secretary of State and NSA Director Condoleezza Rice. Madam Secretary, honored to always have you. I've always appreciated. I'm reading the book and I'm loving it. It's up on my website and in bookstores. You actually said this weekend we cannot tolerate what North Korea is doing, building ICBM capability now that they have nukes. That's right. Japan, China, Seoul, South Korea. How do we? If we take out or try and attempt anything militarily, millions potentially could be in jeopardy.
Well, it's a very bad situation, and it's a dangerous situation because the North Koreans have made a lot of progress in the last several years on bomb design and on potentially marrying that to long-range missiles that could reach the United States eventually. And I don't know if the president's being told 3 years, 5 years, but it's someplace soon. Now, you've got to put together a package of measures to try to stop it, and the first thing is to try to get the Chinese to change their calculation. Sean, the Chinese have always feared the collapse of the regime in North Korea because they worry about refugee flows, long border instability. So they've been unwilling to do anything really tough with the regime to change the regime's behavior. They are really the only trading partner of consequence for the North Koreans. They're really the only ones who give the North Koreans military equipment. So you have to now say to the Chinese, all right, time to really get tough, because it's not a choice between a nuclear North Korea and the collapse of the regime. It is a choice between you do something about the regime or we will.
Here's what I want to ask you. I think one of the underreported stories about President Trump so far is the great relationships he's building with the Saudis, obviously with Israel, yes, rebuilding that relationship, right, which broke down, I would argue, in the Obama years, but the Jordanians, the Egyptians, and there's an opportunity, I think, and we'll get to that in a minute. But he was only supposed to meet with the president of China for a half hour. Right. Those meetings went nearly 5 hours. On 2 occasions, the Chinese president goes back, puts 175,000 troops on the border, sends a shipment of coal from North Korea home, right, imports American right coal instead, and says he's willing to renegotiate trade. Right.
Well, I think the president prepared very well for Mar-a-Lago. I know that he did. He spent a lot of time thinking about how he was going to approach the Chinese president. He got a chance to speak with him, as I understand it, in small sessions rather than kind of large groups.
For 4 hours, 5 hours.
A long period of time. Yeah. And I think that they impressed upon the Chinese the importance of this moment. They impressed upon the Chinese that they really do have to do something about the North Koreans. And they did it through the old-fashioned way, which was negotiation and discussion, but also they've been really trying to reestablish American credibility on these issues. And credibility is not divisible. So when you are not credible about Syria, you're not credible about North Korea. When you are credible about Syria by having made that strike after the
By the way, he made it, and he had to tell the Chinese president before dessert that those 59 tomahawks were fired.
Now, I might not have done exactly that, but good for them, because it got the Chinese attention. When you say the United States means what it says and will do what it says it's going to do, it matters in the world.
Is there a military option? In other words, if we can't tolerate ICBMs married to nuclear weapons because that could hit the continental United States, is there a military option that doesn't risk hundreds of thousands, if not more, lives?
There isn't a military option that any president really actually wants to exercise for exactly the reason that you say. And that's why we're actually putting theater defenses in to try to defend the South Koreans, missile defenses. We're putting defenses in to try to protect the Japanese. But you have to have the option on the table. And I'm sure the president is asking the military, what can I do?